Howdy, it's Matt, and welcome back to the mess, which is my desk. And we've got lots of FPV equipment on my desk this evening, and especially we've got this little Eachine MC01. It's a tiny little Cmos camera with a 25 milliwatt video transmitter in it. Now, I will go through the good points and its bad points in just a few moments, but I'd like to say just from the off is what brilliant fun this little thing is for 20 quid. Absolutely amazed. And in the background you can see that I've got my baby Bonsai, and all we did, and I love this little camera for so many different reasons, but one of the major reasons is that you can just stick a bit of Velcro on the front of any of your model airplanes, stick that to the top, and that's it. You've got your video camera and your video transmitter all in one unit, and you can just plug it in using whichever battery you've got, whether it be a 2S or 3S or even a 4S battery. And that's it, you're away. So simplicity all the way. Now, we've been out flying the baby Bonsai tonight. Not particularly well, I hasten to add, but I was chasing a Cmos around, and you're going to get to see some flight footage in just a minute's time of using this camera and the baby Bonsai, and I'm chasing a Cmos around the sky. Something which I haven't done before, I hasten to add, and I did my absolute best, and with very difficult lighting conditions, the camera did really, really well. So let me move the Bonsai out the way. Now, this is the Eachine MC01, and it costs right now, in pounds sterling, £21.06. Is it a good camera? I think so. For simplicity, it is right up there. Now, I did mention it's got a couple of bad points. Bad point number one is that for some unknown reason is that they've been and mounted the plug. I don't know if you can see that. Let me move that around to the camera. I hope that's in focus for you. The plug for the power supply is underneath. So you'll see what I've been and done here is that I've been and hot glued it to a little bit of 3 or 4 mil plywood, and then stuck a bit of Velcro, complete with grass, on the bottom, which means that I can stick it on any model. But for it to go down flat, I had to get the drill out, and I drilled a hole in there so it had like a little sump for it to sit into, so that it would sit down flat. So I have no idea why they did that, but they did. But that aside, it was very simple just to then go and hot glue in. I haven't changed any of the settings. I don't know if I was running on PAL or NTSC. All I did was change the channel, which is very, very simple. You just press that button down there on the bottom right hand corner very quickly, and it will change channel. So for 1 second, and it will change the channel. This top button up here will swap you between the PAL and NTSC, and also change the orientation. So for some strange reason, if you wanted to mount the camera upside down on your model, say underneath a wing, you could do. I believe on the side as well, and to be honest, I've only flown mine just like that. The other negative on here is this camera lens. I don't know if you can see that, if I move my fingers around, is that this lens isn't screwed in very tight. In fact, when it arrived, and it did have a lovely little lens cap, which amazingly I've still got, and it's been a whole day since I only got it this morning, so there's not much hope for it after tomorrow, is that I had to refocus the camera so focal length was much further out than what it was, but it was actually very simple to adjust. And what I will do is pop a little bit of hot glue in on top of the camera so it locks in a range which I feel comfortable with. And also it looks like there's some grease in there. So that's its 2 negative points. For some unknown reason, they've been and put the power plug on the bottom, and the lens wasn't done up tight. So you can adjust it, or if you're flying on a very vibrated model airplane, that you may notice the focal length gets changed. But that aside, all I've been and done is hot glue this to a little bit of plywood. You'll see that what I've also done is that I haven't put the shrink wrap or shrink tube over the cables. I've kind of just caught them there, and the reason for that, in the in the very likely event of a crash, that these cables have got something to hold them, but they've got a little bit of give in them to give it enough time for balance lead to come unplugged. And all I've done with the balance lead, I wanted this for my Bonsai, which runs on a 2S battery. It does come with a 2S battery connector, a 3S, and also a 4S battery connector, and you can just solder them up. And all I did was just soldered on the wires in the right places, and then with a bit of shrink tube, I popped a little bit of hot glue down there so it was nice and supported, and then popped a little bit more hot glue down in the shrink within the shrink tube, and then just heated it up with a lighter, and I've got a really nice balance lead connector on there. You may also notice this extra lead, which frankly I should have unplugged. One of the cool features about this one is that you can change the channel remotely from your transmitter by connecting that to one of your receiver channels, and then maybe like on the Taranis, the back right hand switch, you can plop the switch up and it would change your channel. But for me, I'm not interested in that, so it's just been dangling around. Now, should you go and buy one of these? Absolutely. If I smashed it up today, I would be back over on Banggood ordering myself another one. Apparently, it's got a nickel-plated antenna, which makes it last longer, but to be honest, I'm more likely to smash this up before that aerials are concerned. And with that said, the proof is always in the pudding. Up next, we've got some flight footage of this camera. I flew 3 or 4 flights with it. Craig as well, he flew a couple of flights. In fact, two other guys up on the flying site tonight, they also had a couple of flights with FPV on this one. They've never flown FPV before, and they were absolutely fine with it. So all around, I'm really happy. Like I said, if I smash this up tomorrow, I would go and buy one tomorrow because it's so simple. The picture quality is good for a Cmos camera. It doesn't compare to something like a Runcam Swift for clarity or color depth. But that aside, it's 20 quid. 20 quid all in. Whereas the Runcam Swift is like 30 quid. And then you also need a transmitter in on top. So you're easily talking 50 quid. So 20 quid, it's an absolute bargain. Now, my point was, the proof is in the pudding. Let's go and see some footage of me chasing a Tech Sumo round, and then you can make your own decision whether you'd like to buy one or not. And with that said, from myself, Matt, cheerios!